Okay, it's a lot cooler than yesterday. It's only 73. It's already what, 11, 16. It's almost noon. I'm eating. Gonna eat real quick. Hey, Summer. My sister's dog. Oh, get the paw, get the paw. Okay, ready? There you go, get it. Okay, so here's my parents' backyard. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, drop it, drop it, drop it. Ready? And then convinced them to get chickens last year. My mom's loving it. They bought this super fancy chicken tractor, which I'm glad they did, because it just makes it easy for them. And my mom's a little obsessed with the chickens, I will be honest. And then this wasn't our property. This used to be a field. It still is a field. Our property line went literally just right here. And these are all trees. This one's mine. The maple tree is mine. We planted all these as kids. This is my older sister Allie. And this is my maple tree, Japanese maple, with the samaras. That's why I picked them, because I love the samaras. I love the leaves, or the things. And look at that. That's not a good sign. Holy smokes, bro. There's like no seeds on this thing. They're all fried. They're all dried. Ooh. I mean, we've been having scorching weather. It went from like 40, 50 degrees and rainy to 90. And so here's nice dogwood. This is Kinsey's tree, and then this is Maisie's tree. And I don't know what kind of tree this is. But then see, we have some problem with the same grasses, but this is like the worst section. This is like a little corner section. Here's some honeyberries. Oh, are the honeyberries coming on? There's some right there. They usually are very early ripening berry, but everything this year is late. Oh, and we're getting a good crop this year too. Look at all these. Oh yeah, look at all these. Can you see? Oh, and here? Oh yeah, we're getting a good little crop of honeyberries this year. These bushes have been here for 2 years now, maybe 3. Here's a huckleberry, Oregon huckleberry. See, so the grass is, but sometimes it's really easy to pick them up. I think. And so, not a big deal. And I just throw them down so it's organic matter. Here's bamboo I got. It's like trapped in. My dad made a herb spiral here. Pretty rad. But this isn't the main garden. So, let's go to the main garden. Let's check for eggs first. Hi, girl. Hi, precious. Nothing. Okay. Here's the main garden. Planted bananas out there. My mom loves her banana trees. Go out there. The corner sections are definitely tough because it's just the grass is the main, thing. And then, but here's our main garden. We're gonna re-wood chip it, but this is the worst. Is just morning glories, and you just pick them as you pass by through the garden. It's really not that big of a deal. In certain areas they're worse, but like this is, you can literally see this is like a flower. These are sunflowers. That's a sunflower. Here's a little bit of the grass. Pulls right up. Gone, done. It's gonna die. Literally, the sun's hot, it scorches it, dead. See how easy that was? Literally, it's not even like hours of weeding a year. We're talking like it's passive weeding. This section has always been a little weird with the stuff, but you see how easy that just pulled up. But Karen's, I'm out there and I'm like freaking, it's ripping up and all this. Here's my hop trellis. I ripped them all up though because my parents wanted tomatoes here, so we only have one hop. This should be a Chinook. I used to be a hop farmer ding, 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 in South Dakota. And then here's my berry corner. Sea berries that we transplanted. There was a fig back here that we chopped down to release the sunlight. Here's a goji berry that they transplanted back here, and then a honeyberry that they transplanted back here. The honeyberries are doing really well in Oregon. I suggest anyone to plant honeyberries. Literally, they're an early producing berry. They're really good. I think they have a similar nutrient complex as the blueberries. Here's one that my mom even chopped back. Oh, and it's got some, look at that, little mint mixed in there with it. And that should be chocolate mint. It's delicious. Yes. And so I planted this thing, and my mom didn't know what it was. and she freaking just chopped it back like crazy. So this one's been like stunted in a sense, but really it's almost just imitating like a deer foraging and just absolutely gnawing it down to nothing. And then here's a bunch of currants. I have one of each kind. Well, I think this is actually a Josta berry, so it's a currant gooseberry mix. And then, but I have like a red currant, a white currant, and then this like black currant slash Josta berry thing. Bee boxes with no bees. My cousin's like an expert beekeeper, so hopefully this year we'll get some bees. And then, yeah, that'd be cool. Yarrow that I got from the neighbor right there. She had yarrow in her yard. So then I planted yarrow right here. And it so happens, I just threw it in an area that I thought that I needed some plants. And it actually just so happens that yarrow does kind of like shallower, rocky soil. And this is exactly like that. It's kind of a shallow spot. This used to be a lot more rocks here because it's kind of a drainage area. But yeah, and then here, rain collection spot. So I built that tower one summer in a couple days. And I collect some rain, and then I also just did this one barrel. So I mean, it during the winter it literally fills all of this. Like, these are full. It's filled to the brim. So like Mark Shepard says, I mean, you got to base your stuff in reality. And I mean, you can see how small this garden shed is. It's not big. It's literally like a, I don't know, 8 by 4 garden shed or something. My dad's killing it in here. My dad is killing it on the starts. So glad I convinced him to build a little garden shed. Because it just gives, like, you know, we just stored stuff. I used to store my archery targets. There's one down there. There's archery targets down there and stuff. And you just, you know, get out of the weather a little bit. And I'm glad he put this up. And then there we go. I planted this feijoa. Here's a feijoa Saloiana. And it kind of helps shade the garden as well, or the garden shed. And then here is a feijoa as well. This one split, sadly. There's a big old gnarly split on it, but it's been growing. A lot of new growth. It's almost like it's really just reacting like, okay, I gotta get my butt in gear and grow. It's kind of dying off on its old stuff. I don't know. It's kind of a little worrisome because I think it gets baked. But my mom says she's gonna possibly take it and transplant it behind the shed. Here's peaches. Gosh, it's already got leaf curl on it. This should be a leaf curl resistant peach. It's okay. So this is the Oregon State varietal that they came out with, that like peach Q18, you know. Oregon State down the road came out with that. And then, yeah. So here's, but I mean, you can see like the weeds are kind of coming up. Not bad in some areas, like especially where we walk, but like you can see, like whatever, bark chips. This is all free. Literally, it's like 60 yards of bark chips over the last few years, not even more than that, like 100 yards of bark chips that we just, and we're gonna get another 20 yards this year and just layer it down. And what I do too is if there's a bad area of weeds, you just put cardboard down over the weeds, pull them up, put it down, and just pile crap on top. See, look how, whatever, pick it up. And the more that you pick the weeds, it seems like the less they come back. And then here's the hugel beds, and there's another hugel bed. But yeah, we dug down, put some logs and did the whole thing. And there's some like nasty oak logs. And then what's cool with the wood chips is actually now I got onto the idea that we go and we dig. I was like, Dad, it composts really well. Like you can kind of see, if I get a shovel out, you can see how moist and rich. I mean, look at this. Like, look at that. And it's hot. And like, but you're getting humic acid built up. You're just getting stuff broke down. Usually there's a lot of worms too. Especially during the winter, you can find a lot of worms when you dig down. But I mean, you can see that's literally like soil's built. If I, like, the ground level is lower, like, and we've been building soil with wood chips all day. Look at how moist it is too. I mean, there's a peach pit. Look at that, a peach pit that might even start a tree because it's in a good area. You know, get that covered up. Hopefully it grows actually. But anyways, it breaks down. I told him, why buy compost and stuff when you can just Look at that, boop, easy, pulled it out. You just scoop. Not every year, he does it kind of every year now, but they just scoop around and just push it, put it on top of the, because it kind of melts every year. So you just repile it up with fresh composted stuff. You're not hiking it in, you're right here with a shovel, boom, boom, boom. This is just, I mean, this is just, I would say, just a good design. You know, I don't want to tout my ideas, but like, that's not a bad, you're not having to do work. Like my dad always taught us, touch time. How much are you going to touch something? Well, I'm going to touch the dirt right here once and flip it on the bed. Not touch it once and then come over here with the wheelbarrow and dump it and then touch it again. Like, no, you just throw it where you want it to. Here's a sea berry growing up. Here's actually a potato. That's funny because I had potatoes all in this back area. And you can see, like, when you're next to a field, like, the field tries to take over. So it's a constant small battle. Here's another potato. Look at that. Potato, 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 potato. Yeah, and ajuga, they planted it here so you can walk on it. Boop, 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 and then harvest your plants, and it helps with like erosion control. So then, you know, when stuff's sloughing off, it'll collect. And really, we gotta, I mean, that stuff is a weed. I'll be honest, it takes over. So like, they need to cut this back. Same with mint. Mint's a little crazy, and like, here's some morning glories growing in it, but you know, not bad. Really pretty low management for the most part. Here, this should be feverfew if I'm right. Or no, that's not feverfew. I don't even know what this is. This is the feverfew that I planted. So that's really doing good. But, and then I had a giant pumpkin, 500-pound pumpkin that grew off of this corner right here. The first year I planted. Here's their new shed, but yeah, here's some sea berries. A couple different varietals. Luckily, they're not too pokey, because sea berries are known, especially native sea berries, are known for being very sharp. And they have varietals now. Canada has like a breeding program that they're breeding for less and less pokiness, you know, easier harvesting, yada yada yada, just, you know, doing their thing. They are dioecious, so you need a male plant. I didn't have a male plant for a good like year or two as these were getting established, and then I finally found one. So here's the male plant. It's not as established, but we should get some berries this year. I got a couple last year because it was in the ground, but I mean, you can see the little berries are growing, and there's a little spider, but I don't know if they'll produce. We'll see. It looks like they are. They'd kind of flick off if they were not pollinated. Oh yes, I'm coming. Hiya! Whoa. But yeah, that's the garden in the gist. There's cherries, there's 2 apples, there was plum, you know, Italian plums, prune plums, but then my mom was like, your dad wants peaches, so we had 2 peaches, and there's another peach actually. There's a third one, I forgot. Yeah, they have 3 peaches now. And there's a pear that never produced. Really weird. I don't know what happened there. And then the borage is always just popping up. Calendula's always just popping up. They just come back every year like nobody's business. Pop a little flower off. Yum yum. They're edible. And you can see the pollinators all over them. Look at the little bees. And, yep, here's a bee. Oh, here's a little guy. Look at them doing their work. Yep. Popping. Oh, I'm going for this one. Yummy, yummy. They're almost a little sweet sometimes. And then the corner I haven't looked at. So let's just wrap this up. It's been almost 15 minutes garden tour. I'll probably post the raw footage and then dice it up into a nice video as well. But you can see this area, I'm gonna just, it's getting away from us, but like I said, you're in the middle of a field. It's kind of tough, you know, so it is what it is. But I mean, you see how easy that was. I just pulled that right out of the ground like it was nothing, and then it'll die when you just, I just usually flip it kind of on its side, and then the sun, I mean, look at that, just rips right up, and then you just kind of, so the organic matter is still there. I don't take the material away ever, but There was asparagus. Oh, there's one. The other one died. I don't know. But I definitely need to cardboard this heavy, and then wood chip it heavy when we get the wood chips. But here's a cutting from my jostaberry. This is literally like 2 years old, dude. I shoved the stick in the ground here, and then it's grown like this. Like one of the hardest plants I've ever dealt with. I literally just trim it back. I'll just prune it, and then make a nice clean edge, and I'll just shove it in the ground in the wood chips, and no cloning solution, nothing, and it grows. And then this is a rosemary I cloned off of a bush we had in a pot, but then that bush died. But I cloned a bunch of rosemary, and so this is our rosemary plant. Love it. And yeah, and look, oh, the clematis came back. Look, that's nice. I mean, and you know, we gotta get out here and weed a little bit. But the banana, there was an OG one in the middle, and it looks like it's finally died off. But we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprouting bananas. So anyone need to put a pig in the ground, we got leaves, baby. We got leaves. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, healthy, beautiful, looking good. It's really looking good out here. And what's crazy is this is a very dry area. You know, my Mulch waters are pretty good, but it's pretty dry for a banana, and yet, as you see, it's growing. So that's the gist of that. And yeah, so my dad drafted and built that shop with his bare hands. I remember coming back home in 2nd grade, and we helped do the foundation work, and Maisie helped in high heels. I remember one time she scooped one shovel worth of dirt, and then she said she was tired and she couldn't do it anymore, and Allie was busting butt, and we were all taking turns shoveling dirt and doing like concrete work. Literally, I remember it was like right over here. We're shoveling, doing our stuff, and I can't do it anymore. And Maisie, she's like 6 years old in high heels. And that's just hilarious. So yeah, there's the shop, and then my dad built half this house. Like, this house is half the size of it is now. And yeah, and they got the sauna and, you know, all the stuff, all the good things, you know, to look forward to when you retire, during a good time, during you know, when things were actually affordable in America. So yeah, that's that. You know, it's not like we just bought some nice house. My dad built it with his blood, sweat, and tears. So, and he drafted it all, literally, not just like got an architect. He did it all. So I grew up around a lot of manual labor. There's a lot of times that I was given a task before I could go spend the night at my friend's house. Yeah, so that's that. Ciao.